Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here for the Smoky Mountain Conference Report. I'm Lauren Hunter hosting tonight, as well as Scott Fletcher, voice of the Andrews Wildcats, and then J.R. Carroll, voice of the Murphy Bulldogs, will be joining us shortly. He's out calling the junior varsity game right now for the Murphy Bulldogs, so he will be in with us as soon as he can. Scott, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, Talking about some football once again.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
always
football.
a good day when we get some time for that.
Absolutely.
All right, Scott. So usually we kick off the show going over the pick'ems from last week. So you ready to go ahead and get into that?
I am.
All right, let's do it. All right. So Andrews lost 39-14 to Raven Gap, which of course you went with the Wildcats.
I did, and
You always do.
Spoiler alert. I will go with the
You're gonna
Wildcats
go
tonight
with them
too.
this week, right?
Okay.
Can't leave the Wildcats. Well, Murphy won 45-28 against Life Christian, and if I'm correct, both of you picked that game
We did.
last week too. And then Hayesville won 44-36 against North Georgia, which is both of you picked Hayesville for that
did.
one. Swain County.
Call timeout on the sideline.
J.R. Carroll has brought a Murphy helmet.
I was so confused. I was like, why is he?
Fish.
Why? There it is. There
Brought
it
a Murphy
is.
helmet in here.
Oh no!
I'm not going to have
Got
that.
both of them in
Wait
there
a
now.
minute, wait a minute.
Oops.
They're touching.
Yeah, that's all right.
They'll be touching a lot tomorrow
All
night.
right, first of all, fans out there, I'm not responsible. Take off, guys.
All right. Well, anyway, how you doing, Jr.?
Time out. I'm going to give Scott some good news.
Oh, go for it.
Andrews 20, Robbinsville 6, final
Goody.
There you
JV football
go.
game.
Good. Wildcat Nation
Awesome.
ruling the JV world this year. So far.
Yeah.
J.R. Carroll, the voice of the Murphy Bulldogs, joining us now from calling the junior varsity game. J.R., we were going over the pick'ems from last week. I have good news for you. You were 7 for 7 last week on the pick'em.
Wow.
You got every single one. Scott, we already talked about it. He went with the wild. He went with.
Was I 6-1?
You were 6 and 1.
Because
Six for
he
7.
didn't know anybody somewhere. Where was it?
Somebody I didn't notice anybody from.
That's always your go-to. Is that
That's it.
I don't know anybody from there, so I'm gonna go with the other person. But anyway, we were on Hayesville that won 44-36 against North Georgia, and then Swain County had a bye week, which I think both of you got that one right.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain won 6-2 over Madison. Cherokee lost 53-0 to Trinity Academy. Robbinsville won 62-27 against Georgia Force, and then finally Rosman lost 55-6 to Chase. So that was the scores from around the Smoky Mountain Conference last week. And then you were telling me last week, conference matchup. It's not region play.
Yeah, it's not region play.
Conference matchup.
Like you guys in Georgia say. Here it's called conference.
Yeah.
Conference play begins
Conference
this week.
play. Conference
Starts
play.
this week.
Starts this
That's
week.
right. That's coming
Yes.
Friday. So we'll be talking about that when I come back for the end, and we've got the conference matchups for this coming week. But we'll do that when we go through the pick'ems in the last segment.
Before we go any further, I'd like to say something, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Away from football for a few minutes. I know this is a football show, but you can't really have a show without mentioning that a legend in the Smoky Mountain Conference passed away this week. Coach Steve Cottrell from Hayesville died unexpectedly, I believe, Monday night in Gainesville, Georgia.
I understand from a heart attack.
Heart attack, it seems like. A lot of people know, of course, everybody knows what Coach Cottrell did in the Smoky Mountain Conference. He was the head basketball coach at Hayesville for many years, athletic director, a great guy. But I want to go over some things that he did at Western Carolina University. A lot of you may not know that he's the third to winningest coach in Western Carolina basketball history. He led the Catamounts from 1977 to 1987. Over 10 years, his record at WCU was 145 and 133. His 81-82 squad finished with a 19-8, marks the school's best Division I record until the 2010 season, which Coach Hunter won the 20 games that season for the only time that Western's won 20 games in a year. After the 79-80 season, Coach Cottrell was the Southern Conference Coach of the Year, and to this date, he's the only men's coach from Western Carolina to collect that honor. I'm a basketball fan. I was a basketball player in high school. I love football, but basketball is my love. My early years, late 70s, early 80s, I spent a lot of my nights at Reed Gym on the campus of Western Carolina watching people like Kevin Young and Greg Dennis Cy Simmons, Ronnie Carr, and Kenny Tremere play basketball, and of course Coach Cottrell was the coach. Back then, the atmosphere at Reed Gym was like magic. For a kid from Canton, a 14, 15-year-old kid like I was from Canton, watching games at Reed Gym was like stuff you dreamed of doing, and Coach Cottrell was part of that. And so I wanted to recognize Coach Cottrell tonight and his accomplishments. He's going to be sorely missed around the Smoky Mountain Conference. I still have season tickets to Western Carolina basketball today because of the way that my memories from my childhood of going to Reed Gym. Now, they don't play in Reed Gym anymore, as you know, and the atmosphere's not the same. I don't care what anybody says. It's not the same. But I still go to games because of my early experiences that Coach Cottrell and his team instilled upon me or influenced upon me. So Michael's his son, the head basketball coach and athletic director at Hayesville. And we're thinking about you and your family. And here's Coach Cottrell.
Steve was a great guy. He was a great guy.
Thank you, Scott. Definitely the Cottrell family from Team FYNSports and myself. And you're in our thoughts and our prayers for sure. Now, with that being said, guys, we're going to go to our first break. And fans, we want you to call in as well and join in on the action with these guys. The number is.
Hey, hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go over the picks? Did you do that already, or did I miss it?
You missed that.
You missed it.
Did I miss that?
Oh, by the way, we have a new name for this part of the show.
What do you got over there, Jay?
FYN and Friends.
You
Yeah.
got it, man.
As long as she's sitting here, okay?
All right, just wanted to make sure. I did hear you say something like JR went 7-7.
He did.
Yes.
7
All
for
right,
7.
okay.
He did.
You got every single one of
He
them.
knows people from
Oh.
everywhere.
One thing before we go, and you brought up somebody that Cottrell had coached at Western. Trivia question for everybody.
I know what you're going to say.
One of those players was the first man to ever shoot a three-point shot in college basketball.
Ronnie Carr.
Ronnie Carr.
Go to break on that, man.
All right.
Yeah, we got to go break on that. Leave it on a high note. Anyway, we'll be back right here at Circuit World of Murphy. Thank you to Circuit World for allowing us to host. Stick around for the rest of the Smoky Mountain Conference Report.
Welcome back to Western Carolina Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference Report. And, Scott, I'm going to let you take this one over because Coach Phillips probably doesn't want to talk to me this week.
Well, sure he does.
I'm the enemy camp this week.
Hey, Coach, how you doing tonight? We're doing good. Thank you for joining us again. I think you and Coach Gentry are becoming a weekly fixture on our team, but that's good because it gets you some exposure for your teams and helps us out by letting us talk to you. And we're learning some good things about your philosophy and what's going on at Andrews. The game last week, we came up short, but there were some bright spots in that I saw. I thought I know it's hard to take a bright spot from losing, but I think we found us a lockdown corner. I really believe that Cade Vaughn would have had about 3 interceptions if he'd have been 5'9", or the other guy would have been normal size. I believe if he would have been 6'3" and Cade would have been 5'11". He'd had 3 interceptions, but what a great job he did defending the pass last week. And they passed for 90 yards, and I think that was a big accomplishment for any team from the Smoky Mountain Conference to do.
Well, one thing about that team, and a lot of people don't know this, those players are from all over the world.
Oh, I could tell by their names when I was trying to announce them. Yeah,
we went down there and watched them play Robbinsville last year, and you had kids on that team from Sweden, from France.
Yeah,
I mean, and they a lot of times they didn't understand what each other were saying.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to watch them put it all together and make it work.
They looked really good on the hoof when they came out. I know that. Yeah, well, like I said, I think there were some bright spots in that. That's stuff that we can use to get better each week and get better this week. That brings us to this week's matchup with Murphy, and I know you read in the paper that they talked to Mr. Manley down Andrews. He was on the last team to beat Murphy in 1981. It's been a long time, but I know that you have not tried to build your program just to beat Murphy. I think you kind of treat this as another game. And what are your takes? What's it going to take for the Wildcats to make a good show and beat the Bulldogs this year? You there, James? Did we lose him? James, can you hear me?
We must have lost him.
Must have lost him.
I read the article, and I don't know if you realize this, but that was the year that caused the hiring of David Gentry.
Yes.
That was an 0-10 year. Murphy went 0-10 in football. The only time in my lifetime I can ever remember them going 0-10 in. It cost 3 people their jobs.
Yeah.
And they had a whole new regime start out the next year.
Right.
That's when David Gentry came to Murphy.
Right.
And but
it's a David versus Goliath story. Murphy's a big school. Andrews, we got 39 seniors this year. Football's about numbers, but I think that people will be surprised. I think Andrews is going to come out and they're going to play hard, and they're going to do the things that they've been taught to do. They're going to stick to their game plan.
Right.
And I'm hoping for a good showing. I'm hoping for a good game. Now, I'm not like the Asheville Citizens. The Asheville Citizens wrote in the paper that Andrews can put the conference on notice, not even with a win, but by keeping the game competitive against Murphy. And you see what I have written there. I won't say that on TV, but that's what I have. There are no, what do you call those wins? There's sentimental wins. What is that?
No,
Where you don't win, but you feel good because you didn't win, but
a
you
moral
played.
victory.
There's no moral victories. There's
Moral
no such thing as
victories.
moral victories in Smoky Mountain Conference football.
No, let's just put all things aside and just call it what it is. And I'm not just talking about Murphy and Andrews. I'm talking about in the Smoky Mountain Conference. The slobber knocking begins.
Yes, it does.
I mean, and when you go into this conference, start playing football on Friday night from here on in, you better have it buckled up every Friday night.
You better be ready. I think there might be, one exception to that, but I think that you need to be ready to play everybody.
While we're trying to get James hooked back up, let's just talk about conference here a little bit.
Okay.
Just from what we know right now, from what we know, from what we've seen in the preseason, and what we know, Swain's going to be pretty good.
Swain's good.
Swain's going to be. I mean, defensively and offensively, I think going to be pretty good. I don't think they saw the same Life Christian Academy team that Murphy and Robbinsville saw.
Right.
I think there was a different. And I think in that homeschool situation, you have some different players at different times.
Right.
That quarterback didn't play against Swain.
Right.
I don't think that running back played against Swain.
Right.
But I am telling you, Life Christian Academy had 11 or 12 athletes.
Yeah.
Just plain out athletes. Their line was huge, and they could move.
Yeah. I think Swain is the team that has surprised me a lot with how well they've played. They've taken every challenge. They've played, they beat Smoky Mountain, they beat Franklin. I mean, who hadn't they beat? They beat everybody they played. So
Yeah,
far.
they won everything put in front of them.
And I didn't expect their record to be what it is right now.
Okay, looking at the schedules. I don't think Smoky Mountain's as good as we thought they were going to be first of the year. So
No, I don't either.
So I think that one sort of marked off. Swain, I think the second week had Inca, didn't they?
And I'm not giving you any credit for beating Inca. I'm sorry.
Okay. And the second week they had Life Christian Academy.
Right.
The third week they had Inca, and they have played some decent teams. They've won everything put in front of them, and I mean they're going to the conference. Got to be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Robbinsville has had some good weeks and some bad weeks.
Yeah.
They've won everything, but they've had some weeks where things was in question, and so.
But I think we're in a situation again, and no disrespect to my Andrews folks, but I think we're in that same situation that we find ourselves in most of the time in the Smoky Mountain Conference.
Three, yep.
There's the big three, and then there's the rest of the pack, and I think right now there's a battle. Those three are always battling. And I think that the rest are trying to get up there in fourth place, so then they can move on up and maybe become one of the big three.
I think your fourth place is going to come out of Andrews and Hayesville. I do believe.
I agree.
I don't think Rosman's got a shot at it.
No.
Cherokee may not even have a team by the time we get to in the conference. Their numbers are getting down so far that we don't really know.
Listen, we're at Andrews. We're enjoying a nice little rivalry, I think, with Hayesville. If you look at that, if you're going to battle for fourth place, we want to battle for first place, but you got to battle for fourth place first. You got to come up there, and we've not done that yet. We're on the way, but we're not done it yet. So if you're going to battle Hayesville in football, we're also going to battle them in boys basketball too. And we had a battle with them last year in boys basketball, kind of building up a little rivalry. I think it's fun games when we play.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to us playing Hayesville. I'm looking forward to us to playing Rosman, and I'm looking forward to Cherokee game.
I got to be real honest. I hadn't even looked at Andrews on film this week, so I've not seen him play. You tell me where you feel like Andrews is going to have success against Murphy.
Well, I think they'll have success with it. I think this is another game like this game, like we played last week, where we need to be able to run the veer. We need to be able to run. We need to be able to control the ball. If the other team doesn't have the ball, they can't score.
Right.
And we need long, time-consuming drives, and we need some stops on defense, and we're going to need some turnovers. Last week we didn't get any turnovers, and that school they had us so spread out trying to stop the pass, which we did. But when you're spread out like that, it was kind of hard to stop the run.
Kind of like Christ School did us the week
Yeah,
before.
it's kind of hard to stop the run.
Yeah.
And so I got to tell you, I can't. I mentioned to Coach Phillips. I know we've lost him, but I mentioned to Coach Phillips. Cade Vaughn played a heck of a game in the defensive backfield, and that kid, he's got a lot of heart. He plays hard. I'm telling you, he's about 5'5".
Right.
And the defender, the wide receiver he was guarding was about 6'2" or 6'3", and had Cade been anywhere close to as tall as he was, we'd had 3 interceptions. And I'm telling you, that game, don't be fooled by that game. We missed a wide open pass to a wide receiver, would have been a touchdown probably. Missed another pass that just overthrown, a little overthrown. Mm-hmm. You take those 2 plays and take away that fumble where they picked it up and ran it back. But I know if ifs and buts was candy and nuts, we'd all have a good Christmas. But I was really impressed with our defensive backfield because we've not been able to stop the pass the last couple of years really well.
Murphy, the 4 games they played, they faced a decent pass attack, a good pass attack, and an excellent pass attack.
Yeah.
And you're going to laugh at me when I tell you who the excellent one was, and it wasn't Christ School.
It's probably the Georgia.
It's Life Christian Academy.
Life Christian, yeah.
Life Christian Academy. That quarterback was for real.
Yeah.
That quarterback could play for any college he wants to.
Well, here's a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. We ain't gonna throw the ball. kind of like Jim Fox. We're gonna throw it 3 times. 2 of them's gonna be in warm-ups.
You'll have a wide blocker instead of a wide out.
That's right. We'll have
Hey,
wide
guys,
blockers.
We probably need to take a break. And
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's take a quick break and see if I can get some of the technical things straightened out to get Coach Phillips back on.
Okay.
We apologize for that. Let's take a break, see if we can get him back on, all right?
All right.
Hear me now?
No, let's go. We're live.
Okay. I can hear you good, though.
I can hear both of you now.
We're live, guys. Go.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, JR. We ready to go?
Yeah.
Go ahead, JR.
Welcome back to the Smoky Mountain Conference Report, Western Carolina Report. Scott, we've got Coach Phillips back on the line there.
Coach, sorry we lost you. We were talking about the last time Andrews beat Murphy, 1981. I know you played at Andrews. Talking about how you approached this game. Tell us what it's going to take for the Wildcats to pull off a victory tomorrow night against the Bulldogs. Yeah, I hear you good. Coach, we were talking, while we lost you, JR and I were talking, and I was telling him we were probably off the air. We were talking about how our pass defense was last week, and JR told me, he said, well, Murphy's played a pretty good passer, excellent passer, and a really, really good passer. And I told him that we weren't going to pass. We run the ball. And so, tell me about Landon White and Gavin Wilson, and then Tucker Holloway's play at quarterback this year. How that's evolved.
No, because that's my line in and out. Their game is up. But over here on my jacks, where the audio is on 13, 14, 15, 16, my phone line.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Coach, I know you've looked at film on Murphy this week. What do you think are the keys that you've got to stop to come away with the win this game? Coach, and it's got nothing to do with this week's game, but I was sitting there telling Scott, and I know you probably watched the game with Life Christian Academy. I was telling Scott that field was full of athletes last Friday night, and they were all wearing that black with the green numerals on them, or if you could see them. I told
JR said the same thing.
I told somebody, I said, if that bunch had a coach, they would be dangerous.
Coach, where do you see us lining up in the conference? Where do you see the Wildcats lining up in the conference this year?
Well, they're going to win. I mean, you don't ask the coach that. He thinks they're going to win.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
You can't. The only channels that have
Well,
the game have ports with link tracks. Yeah, exactly. You got no port entry.
Well, Coach, you got to feel good about what happened tonight with your JVs. I mean, you beat one of those top tier teams tonight.
Okay, Michael, I just was told that you can think with your coach. It's like you've got to be turned up. And I've got the auxiliaries way up.
Coach Phillips, I know it's coach speaking, it's just another game and all that, but now this one's sort of for the bragging rights of Cherokee County. This one's a little bit more special than the one last week. But for the kids, it is. Yeah. The
Coach is still in the whisper.
Well, I'll bet you one thing, James. I said if I had David Gentry sitting here, he would have the same answer you just gave. But these kids, they go to town together. They go to the movies together. There's probably a little dating going on back and forth between Andrews and Murphy. So it's a little bit different on this one than it is the rest of them.
It's pain. Yeah, pain. It is.
By the way, Coach, I still hadn't forgive y'all for stealing my number one Bulldog, getting her up there as your principal. I said, yeah, I said I still hadn't forgiven y'all for stealing my number one Bulldog, getting her up there as a principal.
Solo should be done this way.
Well, see, you don't realize this, but after the show tonight, I've got to give him little lessons on how to do that so he can do it real good up there.
I'm
Next
not.
Friday night.
I'm not going to do it.
The only thing that should be down is
Well, I guess we better take a little break, Scott. Hey, James, I'm not going to wish you good luck. I'm sorry, bud, but wish you good luck the rest of the season after Friday night. But thank you for being on the show with us and talking with us. And hey, I appreciate you bringing those players down last week too. Any injuries to speak of this week? Well, I'd sort of been out of pocket all week. I had to go to Atlanta for some stuff for General Motors for the dealership, and I picked up NC Preps last night about 11 o'clock. Got to looking at it, and on one of those threads there, they had let's see, Murray was out, Rumfelt was out. I think even Rathburn was out too.
it has worked.
And I started reading all of it, and I said, no. Well, so I go to the game tonight. Murray's fine, Kellen's fine, and Rathburn's fine. So I think Murphy's healthy this week, as far as I know. We will be minus one of our linemen. He did have a little tweak there last week against Life Christian Academy, so I'll have to fill in for that. But other than that, I think they'll be healthy. Oh, it's
All right, James. Thanks for calling us. All right, see you.
We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back, everyone. You are watching the Smoky Mountain Conference Report. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, here alongside Scott Fletcher and J.R. Carroll. These two guys have been doing an awesome job.
And FYN and friends.
FYN and friends. We always joke when I jump back in that we are FYN and friends. But anyway, whatever we are, we're back here to talk about some football and some conference play. So I got it right this time.
You did.
Scott's proud of me. All right. So with that being said, there are going to be fewer games to go over this week. But the first one that you guys have been talking about all this, unless y'all want to save this one for last week. You want to
Save that one for last.
All right, let's save that one for last. Well, Hazel has a bye this week, so who's picking what with that
Hazel's
one?
not going to lose.
There we go. There we go. All right,
the
I think
swarm.
that's a guaranteed one. Then Swain County is going to be at home against Cherokee.
That is going to be a running clock by the
That's
second
going to be
half.
ugly.
It's going to be a running clock by the second half.
It's going to be ugly.
It may be a running clock in the first half.
It's going to be ugly.
Well, yeah.
I'm going with Swain on that one.
Yeah, well, yeah, we both.
I was assuming that you were.
I'm hearing, and I have nothing to base this on. Just rumors that I've heard. Cherokee will do good to finish the season.
Yeah.
With a number
Well,
of
I
players
certainly
they've
hope
got
they.
and what they're the ones that have quit so far.
People don't know this, but there was a time when Coach Gentry coached at Edneyville that he actually talked, and he'll tell you about it. He's probably told you about it before. Edneyville was a small school like Cherokee, and he called all the men from the school together and said, "Some of y'all got to play. I just need you for practice. Just come out." The only difference was back then is he had people like Fat Cat Worley and Mark Splone and Clay Corn and people like that to draw from. They had a school of athletes when he was. They had
Dean
school
Jones.
athletes.
Dean
Jones, all those guys. He had a school of athletes, and so
First time-
he got out, they did good. I don't believe Cherokee's got that to pull from.
I've got to tell you this story. The first time I ever met David Gentry, Hayesville went to play Edneyville in the playoffs. I was working at the radio station, and they sent me out there to cover the game. And the Edneyville won. I mean, I think, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Dean Jones was the quarterback that year.
Yeah.
And they beat Hayesville. And that's the first time I met David Gentry. Little did I know, 5-6 years later, he's going to be head coach at Murphy.
Yeah.
But he and I became good friends since then. He gives me a hard time. I give him a hard time. Got to tell you the story. We lost to Swain in 1987, I think it was, in the conference championship game. I was writing for the Cherokee Scout at the time. I wrote this big article. We got a block better. We got all this. I get a call from the coach. He calls me over there and he looked at me. He said, "Listen here." He said, "You do the sports right and I'll do the coaching, okay?" Not the end of the story. Several years later, and I mean 10, 15 years later, I go to a Murphy basketball game, which I rarely do, but I did. I went to a basketball game. Well, Coach Gentry's out there announcing the starting lineups for the boys' basketball team. Well, he gets through, so I'm walking off court. I looked at him and said, "Hey, Coach." I said, "What?" I said, "You do the coaching, I do the announcing." He just smiled and kept walking.
Got it back out of that one. Alrighty. Well, then the last one. Well, not the last one because we saved the last one for last. But Robbinsville at Rosman.
That's another one that's going to be a running clock by halftime. Rosman's going to get through the season okay. They're fine as far as that goes, but they lost their main player. They got a new coach trying to start the program back up. He has been there before, and you know more about Essenberg than I do.
Came in late. Look, I know people in Rosman, and I'm still going with Robbinsville. So I'm picking Robbinsville in that one.
That may be the first time that you've done that.
Yes.
It gets down to these. We probably all know somebody somewhere in those.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
I even know people that I call friends in Swain. So I
That's
mean,
right.
Yep. You know,
I
you
got a
guys
few
know
of those
people
too,
everywhere.
but I try not to be seen in public. No, I'm just kidding.
nah.
I'm just kidding with you. Just joking.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. Still,
I'm talking about Jimmy Hip, though. You just.
Well, I'm talking about. Oh God, what is his name? I can't even think of it. Used to own a tire store over there. Helped Gary Ayers on the broadcast there for a while.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm friends with Gary. No, I've known Gary for years. And then I know Joe Benny Schuler. He's daddy. And but it's a funny little area around here. When football season rolls around, we're at war.
Yeah.
But it's kind
And
of
it starts this week.
and it's kind of like the
Yep.
SEC though. somebody else starts picking on one of us,
Yeah,
you got us all to fight to get back out.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's sort of that way.
Yep.
But this is a game I've been waiting on. Go ahead.
All right,
Announce it.
the game I think everybody's been waiting on. Andrews at home against Murphy. I'm gonna get out of the way here in case
Go ahead,
y'all
JR.
start, in case y'all start going at it.
You go first.
Well, as I said earlier, I don't know if we were on air or not when we talked about it. Article in the paper: the Wildcats hadn't won since 1981. I say the same thing about Clemson. Clemson's won 27 games or 22 games in a row. Sometime, at some point, their luck runs out. And just to be honest with you, this could be the year. I'm going with the Wildcats. Is that where you say not so fast?
Nah, I'm not going to do that. I know people in Andrews. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be gentle with this. Okay.
Oh boy.
I just don't think they're there yet. I mean, I think they're working on it, but I don't think Andrews is quite there yet. I'm not sure Murphy's peaked yet.
Right.
Rumfeld, the quarterback, is getting better every week. I mean, you can just see him mature each week that he plays. The first two games, let me go back to that. We pretty much had to depend on the running game and our defense to win games.
Yeah.
But the third game, fourth game, well, let me just back up on the fourth game. The Christ School, he didn't get a whole lot of passing done because he was running for his life when he went back to pass. But he's got what a lot of people don't know about Murphy this year that have not been shown yet. They've got several good receivers.
Yeah.
Good, fast receivers. And they got a little quarterback that can sling it around a little bit. But they're Murphy.
Yeah.
If they don't have to pass, they're not going to.
Well, why would you?
I mean, they're going to line up. They're going to run the wing tee. They're going to run the spread. And if you pretty well know what's coming to every play.
Right.
It's pretty much here we come. Stop us if you can.
Yeah.
And
I need to throw out a disclaimer for this game also.
what's that?
If you're a Murphy fan and you're at the ball game tomorrow night and you hear me call out somebody on your team made a tackle that's over there drinking water, that's because sometimes at certain angles it's really hard to read.
Wait a minute. Let me add to your disclaimer. This is for you, Joseph.
Yeah. As I told Joseph on the beach during
Yes.
spring break.
Yes.
It's a little difficult to see the numbers.
No, I can say as voice of Bulldogs, it's impossible to see the numbers
From certain angles, yeah.
Yes.
And so last year, the last time they came down, Hayden Phillips lives next to me, and I told him after the game, I said, "Man, you made several tackles." He said, "Yeah, one time I was drinking water," but I knew him; he was my neighbor, so I announced his name a lot. Tomorrow night, I'm going to guess that Asher Brinky's going to make a lot of tackles because I know Asher.
You know Asher. All right,
And,
I know Asher.
and so
I know Asher's dad and mom real well.
he
too.
may make a lot of tackles tomorrow night, whether he's in the game or not.
Or whether he's on the sideline drinking water.
He could be on the sideline drinking water. I don't know, but he's probably going to make a tackle. So be patient with me. I'm doing the best I can. They're really hard to see, but it is always fun to call this game.
Well, I mean, this game, it's a county rivalry. There's a lot of relatives. Some of them live in Andrews, some of them live in Murphy. In order for it to be a rivalry, though, Andrews got to start winning some games. I mean, that's just.
Well, that's you know.
I mean,
look,
and if it gets to that point, what you are going to see here is a mini Tuscola Pisgah.
right,
That's exactly what you're going to see if that begins to happen.
yeah,
And
and that's the goal is to start making that happen.
But that's got to happen first. The two big games for Murphy this year, and the way it is always, and used to, it was Murphy and Swain.
right,
That's the last game of the season every year, and 9 times out of 10 it decided the conference.
right,
Whoever won that won the conference. Robbinsville got into that mix about 5-6 years ago.
yeah,
Basically when D went back over there.
right,
And now you've got 3 pretty hard rivals. Well, Swain and Robbinsville's always been a rivalry.
right.
I mean,
Of course, you know nothing I say is it's like on TV shows where they say the opinions expressed are not the sole opinions of the station.
Oh, yep.
Mine are not the sole opinions of the coaching staff or the faculty at Andrews High School, but I can tell you this.
and in fact, if it don't line up exactly right, you may get slapped time you get
That's
home.
exactly right. You're exactly right. However, I can tell you this. The goal of Andrews is to become a winning program. Something we all acknowledge. There's the big three in this conference, and if you wanna knock into the big three, you gotta make it to top four. The goal is to make it the big four. That's the goal. And I think if you make it to big four, then every now and then you're going to step in and you're going to beat one of these supposedly big three teams. But you got to control that lower half of the conference first before you can take on the top. And I think that's the goal. I think that's what I expect to happen this year.
Cherokee did it a few years ago.
Cherokee did that. They did that.
They did it a few years ago.
You know, it's just everything runs in a cycle. We're in a good cycle right now with some good athletes. Our JV team's good. I think you're going to see some good things continuing on, and it's a building process. You know, you don't go from not having very many winning seasons over a period of years to being superstars in 1 year. This is a building process.
Right.
But I like the way we're going. I like the route Coach Phillips has taken. I think it's going to be good. So we'll see what happens.
Let's talk about a couple other games.
All right.
Oh boy.
How about Mountain Heritage at Pisgah?
I'm going to go with Mountain Heritage on that. Here's why. David Singleton, Danny Milner, Scott McAdams, Michael Churm, Wormy Allen. They hadn't played for Pisgah since 1976. Pisgah ain't what it used to be. I'm going with Mountain Heritage.
They're playing at the Bear Den.
I know. I'm going with Mountain Heritage.
Well, I'm going to go get you. I'm going to go Pisgah.
Are you?
I'm going to go Pisgah. Another one close to your home and heart, Hendersonville at Polk County.
Nothing in this world gives me greater joy
The Hendersonville
than to
getting beat.
pick against the Hendersonville Bearcats. I'm telling you right now, if the Bearcats were playing the Taliban, I wouldn't cheer for anybody. I am going with Polk County. Not only that, because Polk County beat the Mighty Eagles of East Henderson last week like 52-6. If you can beat the Eagles 52-6, you'll beat Hendersonville.
Well, that's not necessarily
We got a
so.
Facebook comment.
All right.
Our Facebook comment. Now, understand, JR, this is from Facebook.
All right.
They want to let JR know Andrews has more of a chance than JR knows.
Good.
That's what it said.
Oh, man.
That's for that's Facebook. Somebody on Facebook put that up there.
Thank you very
They're
much. Thank you very
watching.
much.
There
And
you
they
go,
want
Scott.
JR
There's
to
your
know.
affirmation that somebody is watching.
Somebody's watching.
Hey,
Somebody's
you want me to
watching.
read them, right, JR?
And hey, if it happens, I'll come in here next week and say I was totally off base. But I just don't think
Are you
we're
going
there
to come
yet.
in here next week and wear red too?
No.
Gee
I
whiz.
will make a
Who
little.
knows? You might be supporting the Bulldogs.
I will make a little wager with you.
What's that? What's that?
Uh-oh. I instigated
You got
this.
two elements here.
Yeah. I'm not going to wear a helmet during the broadcast.
But you'll put it on during the broadcast.
Just for a
Wait a
minute.
minute. We got a wager, right? Let's see.
If it
Are
fits
we
my
hearing-
pumpkin
am I hearing
head.
wager?
That's got to be pumpkin size.
Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, you got to go get a bigger helmet than what you got there. If I have to wear that Wildcat helmet.
All right. Well, if you had to wear, trust me, I swear to goodness, if you have to wear that Wildcat helmet, I'll bring you one and it'll fit you.
Okay, all right. I'll put the Wildcat helmet on if Andrews wins. You put the old black and gold on if Murphy wins.
All right, I'll do it.
All right, now you heard it. We got a wager now. Wager alert.
And
Wager
we've got
Wager
we've got an
alert.
XL helmet.
And I would just
Yeah.
like to take credit for instigating it, but you know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Gary didn't have a double X. That's what he told me when he brought it to me in the press box tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't have a double X. Or I gave you one of them.
Okay, well,
Meaning that my head was so big that it needed a double.
he might be.
X.
It might be a foretaste of the feast to come. He may be telling you that you're just going to have to put it on.
That you, yeah, you about
Oh,
to have
and,
to wear it.
and I've got to tell you this story before the end of the show. You know, I asked him on air last week. You know, what's the problem with running the trap?
Yeah.
He ran the trap last Friday night.
Oh, did he good?
It was successful.
Very
And
good.
about the fourth quarter, he gets on the headset and tells the coaches to come ask me if he's running the trap the right way now.
Just another proof, guys, that people watch your show. People are watching it.
But
Comment on Facebook and everything.
Well, this is one of the funnest things I've ever done, I think. I mean,
oh, and
it's
this
pretty-
a little
pretty fun.
message from your wife.
Oh, a message from my wife.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Who the East Henderson Eagles playing this week?
I don't know, but,
Who are the East Henderson Eagles playing this week?
well, it's not Hendersonville. I don't know who they're playing,
Well, let's see. It
but
should be
chances
here.
are they're going to get beat because we're not very good.
They're playing. Oh, yeah, they're gonna get beat.
Who we playing? Who we playing?
They go to Mitchell.
Yeah, it's
So
going.
do we have a new segment? Wife sends in questions segment. It's
Yeah.
time for the
Questions from the wives.
Quote from my dear Lisa.
Yes.
I am sure they will get slaughtered.
Man, she likes to talk bad about the Eagles. She does.
Oh my goodness.
My dream is she'll be principal there
Well,
one
well,
day.
now I'm telling you something here. You might need to close your ears on this one. My wife's from Fannin County,
Yeah.
and there are times that things happen at the house, and I'll look at her and I say, "That's Fannin County coming out at you."
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't go over very well at the house. No.
Nah.
So you say your wife's from Fannin County. You said that a little low, but you did say that.
Yeah, it's hard
You
for me
think
to.
I don't understand?
Yeah, Miss Lisa's from Fannin.
Well, folks,
Yep,
it's about that time.
it is about.
Are you
going
going to sing a dance?
No, I'm not.
I'm not
Why not?
either. Although, I can belt a tune. It won't sound good.
We might have a new
let's-
wager.
let's-
It's
We
not
might
a-
have a new wager.
No, God, no.
It's not a joyous
At
noise.
At
It's just a
some
noise.
point, we're going to have a wager where Scott has to sing if somebody
Scott's
loses
not
or
singing.
somebody wins.
No.
Guys, game's over in Andrews tomorrow night, right?
In Andrews.
Yeah. So I'm going to come over tomorrow night because Andrews has a sideline.
Yeah, we do.
Murphy's
And
sideline about as wide as
when
this
I
chair.
go on the when I go on the visiting side of the Murphy sideline, I have to be careful not to get run over because I
Yeah.
have about about 6 foot to the fence on that sideline.
Yeah, well, I've
Pretty tight.
never been on that sideline, but I'll be on the sideline tomorrow
Well,
night.
I've been on that sideline taking pictures and stuff moving around. So
Well,
BKP's been
come
truck
up,
before. He
come
knows
up in the
what it's
press
like.
box.
I'm
I'll
going
give you a
to-
piece of pizza and all the ice cold Coke you can drink.
What,
So,
you're not going to give him a Chick-fil-A sandwich?
I don't get Chick-fil-A sandwiches anymore. They only bring me pizza.
Really?
Yeah, James got a little tied on me there. He's making money on the Chick-fil-A, so I get pizza. But it's good pizza.
Well,
It's really good pizza.
Miss Anderson and I forget what
She won't help me.
the hospitality club. No,
Oh.
my Miss Anderson
Okay,
at Murphy. And the hospitality club, they will get a different restaurant in Murphy each Friday night.
Oh,
And
I'll come up to the press box to see you, and then as usual on the away game, he'll be on the fence line.
yeah.
I'll be on the sideline.
Fence line. I seen one night on
No,
the
no,
fence
no, no,
line
no,
over
no.
there.
No, no,
Before
no.
the game. It was before the game.
Yeah, before the game.
Yeah.
I'm
Politicking on the fence line.
Just a
Yeah,
little
trying to sell a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Over there.
Oh,
Trying
well,
to
you
take
heard
people
it.
to cleaners like he did me. It's terrible.
Guys, it is 8 o'clock, so
Oh my
whatever you
God.
want to wrap up
Oh
and
my
say.
God.
See, you all can just see what a good time we have here on FYN and Friends when we get on the curvy couch here and start talking about some football and get some wagers going. But you did hear it from BKP himself, Team
Hey.
FYN Sports. Yes, JR.
How about them Bulldogs?
Go Dogs.
Wait a minute.
Go Dogs.
I
Wait,
mean,
which
it's
Bulldogs
8
are we
o'clock,
talking
but
about?
We've got another fan comment on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Another comment. Go Dogs, and Scott is a true Dogs fan.
Oh.
I gotta read it, kid.
No.
Scott,
He's a closet fan. I keep telling him
All right.
that all the time.
that's on Facebook, buddy.
It's out there now. It's out there.
Somebody on Facebook said Scott is a true. Guys, too much fun. Whatever you want to say to wrap it up. So
Yep,
we can go
we're
home.
going to wrap it up here with that comment.
Have-
Thank
have-
you all.
Have a good week and go Dogs.
Go Cats, whoever you. I
Rise
thought you
up,
meant
Wildcat
Georgia.
Nation.
But anyway, we
I know
won't.
you
We
did.
won't get. We're not going to get into that. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you to Circuit World for allowing us to broadcast live here for the Smoky Mountain Conference report. We will see you here next week at the same time, same place.